Welcome Apollonians to September Star Talk. The objective of this series is to communicate, connect, and inspire you all. Henry Ford said, anyone who stops learning is old, whether 20 or 80, and anyone who keeps learning stays young. Mahatma Gandhi said, live as if you will die tomorrow, learn as if you will live forever. Wow, wow, wow. Powerful saying. Today, with our two special guests, we will be inspired about the power of learning. I have the honor to introduce you to Miss Trang Vũ, Apollo CEO.
Hi.
Hello, Trang. And Mr. Jimmy Pham, KOTO CEO.
Hello,
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hi, Trang.
So, Trang joined Apollo more than 3 years ago and became our CEO in March 2020. Under her leadership, the company has gone from strength to strength. Very recently, on Monday, September the 13th, Apollo received the notable award from Deloitte for Best Managed Company. Very well-deserved recognition for the impact we are making to Vietnam education and training sector. She got awarded for her resilience and leadership in June this year. Trang was inspired by Apollo's mission that we believe learning has the power to change life. Hundreds of thousands of Apollo learners are now fulfilling their potential thanks to the training we provide. Trang is determined to do the right things for not the easy things for Apollo learners. For the team, she's famous with her positive energy and with all the laughs she often brings to our meetings. Our second guest, Jimmy, born in Saigon but raised in Sydney and has operated successfully in the hospitality sector in Vietnam. Jimmy is the founder and CEO of KOTO for more than 20 years. KOTO stands for No One Teach One. KOTO is a social enterprise providing international hospitality training to disadvantaged youth, giving them the chance to excel in life and contribute back to the society. From disadvantaged youth, KOTO alumni now live and work in 14 countries. 33% of them are in management positions. Jimmy and KOTO have received a lot of awards for their contribution. Most recently, Jimmy was the winner 2021 Wales Global Citizen Choice Award. At the moment, KOTO is experiencing a tough time as COVID stopped the restaurant operation, which is the main source of budget to support KOTO training. Today, I'm very proud to announce that for any viewers, Apollo will contribute 1 meal toward KOTO trainees. Through the story sharing, our two guests will mention a few things they possess or they observe as important ones for the learning journey. Listen carefully as you will have a chance to win our prize. Please list those things in the chat box. The 5 people with closest answer will get a prize. So, without letting you to wait any further, here are our impressive guests today with the topic, the power of learning. So, my first question will be for Trang. What attracted you to Apollo and have kept you so far here since then?
Hi, Chị Hoa. Thanks for your nice introductions. And hi, everybody. Hi, Jimmy. It's such a long time we haven't seen in person. So first of all, let me say thank you very much, for your working hard and relentlessly contribute to the company. Back to the questions. The question is that what attracts me when I'm working at Apollo. There's a lot of attractions, I would say, and I can name a few things. The first thing is that I like the fact that our work matters to the people's futures in the way that we add a new value and we contribute to the better futures of young Vietnamese learners. The second fact I like about the Apollo and working for Apollo is also I like the fact that we are not doing the same thing every day, even in a normal situation or in abnormal situations. But in every situation, the team is that play to win and live the best. And we are learning, being challenged all the time, but in a very supportive environment. The last thing about why I love working in Apollo, there's an old saying, I can't remember the name, but there's an old saying. They say that if you are the smartest person in the room, it means that you are in the wrong room. And how I feel about working at Apollo is that we are being surrounded with a very talented people and smart people who are passionate about what we are doing. So yeah, if I can name 3 things, I can name a lot more, but if I can name 3 things, these are those things.
Great, I feel the same. Thank you, Trang. The second question go to Jimmy. Why did you decide to set up KOTO in Vietnam? We know that you left Vietnam when you were small, raised in Sydney and came back to set up KOTO. So why?
Hello everyone. Hello Hua. Thank you for the great introduction. I'm feel a bit humble after hearing you. So I thought that you summed it up very well. I just wanted to before start is to extend my congratulations to Miss Trang and Apollo. Seeing you guys getting all these multiple awards throughout the years has made me very proud because we're one of your partners, so we feel extremely proud to be a part of a winning team. So congratulations for that. Back to your questions. The main reason I think I kind of fell into KOTO. I came to Vietnam, back to Vietnam in 1996 when I was 24 years old, and I met a couple of street kids that changed my life. I decided, like one of the quote that you mentioned, why is the Muhammad Gandhi, and his other quote is, "Be the change that you want to see in the world." And I decided after spending time with street kids that I want to be that change. Another reason as well is when you love a country where you're born. And you feel that there's so many people suffering, if you can be a part of that change, then that's a great honor. So I came back 4 months later, and I went through this journey of working as a tour leader in tourism. So I get firsthand to witness the impact of tourism and the growth of Vietnam. And I met, along the way, I learned a lot. I learned the Vietnamese language, I learned the culture and all that as well. And then finally, after 4 years of looking after a whole bunch of street kids, those kids said to me that, in fact, what I was doing wasn't helping them at all. So I was giving them fish every day, so they don't get a chance to learn how to fish. So and that's began my journey with KOTO. And the idea of opening KOTO was to give them an alternative way of learning. Because everyone knows the power of learning is actually through a key to a future. And those kids who come from those backgrounds, who's underserved and disadvantaged, they don't have access to that kind of education. So if you can give them an alternative power of learning, which is learn by doing, then you can actually give them a future as well. So I was very passionate about that. So I took a whole bunch of street kids and I built KOTO for the last 20 years into a hospitality training program. But we also kind of knew that with hospitality skills, but you have no soft skills and no empowerment and no confidence, it's very difficult to have a sustainable life. So we added life skills as well into the program. And then we joined forces with Apollo, which is an honor to do hospitality English, to combine that to give them a competitive edge to get into the workplace. So as a result of that, we placed over 1,200 hospitality professionals into all the hotels and restaurants, resorts globally in the world. And we feel extremely proud because through the power of learning, you actually get them access to escape poverty and then pay it forward, which is what No One Teach Once about.
Interesting journey. So you learn your own lesson too, not giving people fish. Instead, teach them how to fish, right? Great story, Jimmy. So now let's move to the next question. Trang, can you share with us some impression and story you've had about KOTO?
So my story about KOTO is that 20 years ago, maybe since the first day when I and Jimmy came to Vietnam, it's also the first day I come back to Vietnam after eight years, living in Holland, and look like we are, coming from a different rural and born in and was born in the different town, but you might not know that there's a connection between you and me, and that's a story, and the story is about a young and disadvantaged ladies who is like in the family of 9 kids, dropped school when she was at 8, came to Hanoi and looking for kind of a job so that she can feed the big family in her hometown. And I only met anh Jimmy, through the magazines and read through a lot of story about him, and we didn't met in person a lot since until those days. But the moment I heard about the story, and I in a very quick moment, I decide that that girls have to go to Jimmy and have to be under the KOTO, and we want if she want to change the life, that's the place for her. And she's been through a lot of like difficulties, and I know that the assessment process is also very strict in the sense that you make sure that you collect the right persons to support, and luckily she was one of those persons. And the story I have is that even like 20 years when I'm looking back, and I said that if I would make that decision, and you also if she's not under the KOTO, I'm sure that her life definitely gonna be totally a different directions. Now looking at her in these days, working in KPMG, she's also having her own business, having her own house, and she's also spend all of her money spent on her child, and now the child is with Apollo. So this kind of story is really real and very inspiring. And and again, I would like to take this opportunities to thank you and Jimmy and the KOTO. The job that you're doing is really amazing, it's truly a great reflections of learning have a power to change life.
Great, a beautiful story, Trang, and you are so kind to recommend the lady, instead of continue to work for you, go to KOTO at that time for the training, and it changed her life. Yeah. So Jimmy, we are partners. So I believe you have some stories and impression about Apollo. Can you share with us some of those, please?
I came from a time where Apollo was started. So Khalid and Arabella Peters was the founder of Apollo. So we started pretty much the same time, and I have to say I had this great admirations for them and for what Apollo is doing. Let me explain more. Apollo here, at that time when he opened a language center, they have the vision to understand that English is a universal language. It's something that is going to be, you want a good job, you want to travel, you want to see the world, you want to do managerial positions and all that, you need to command of English. So it's good to see this last 20 years journey to Apollo, from a center that you have in Leavenworth many to seeing this, like, you know, hundreds of centers all across Vietnam. So I'm actually very proud. I want to congratulate them for their vision. And the reason why I have this admiration, and like the power of learning, as you mentioned, Hoa, is that English is one of those, you know, when you educate someone to have a future, you're actually doing impact work. You actually don't have to say, oh, because you're charging, that means that you're not doing anything for the community. You are, and actually, in fact, educating a whole bunch of generations to grow up to be intelligent, to be active citizens, to contribute, etc., to have a great career, which means that, you know, they pay great taxes, you know, and the economy of Vietnam grows. So that's impact. So impact doesn't have to be go out and do charity work and give rice and all that kind of stuff. Impact is about making this, you know, people's life better than they were yesterday. So I want to say that. So the story for me is it's a 20-year love story that has been, you know, stretching out for so long, and just to watch it grow and the impact that it has on the Vietnamese community. And then so it's a big congratulations for the vision.
Thank you. We are very proud to have partners like you, Jimmy, who really understand our mission and our vision.
That's right.
So we've heard a great story about learning. Now we will go into more stories. So for both Trang and Jimmy, you must have seen more power of learning to someone's life, or maybe to the community. So can you share one of those stories to inspire our audience? So Jimmy, you want to go first?
What? I think I get asked a lot of that question a lot. As into, can you give us some success and all that kind of stuff? I think that through the KOTO program, which is learning, the power of learning, every single kid has transformed their life for the better. So that's, to me, is success. Whether a street kid who used to shine shoes and now have his own coffee shop and look after his wife and his kid, that's success. Wow. Because through learning. And you know, a maid who don't get to see the mausoleum is able to take her daughter to go and see the mausoleum now, and able to afford to put her kids through school, like Miss Chan said, with you know, in the case of Miss Hoa. So or someone who actually used the qualifications from KOTO to travel the world and study her MBA or her degree and things like that. So there's a pathway to education. So there's a really powerful quote that says, in Vietnamese, they say học nữa, học mãi. So it's a very powerful word, and it's true. You know, I got my degree at 48 years old, and I got my master's at 49. So I doesn't mean it stops. You stop learning just because you finish your university, and that means you don't have to learn anything. Every day that you live, you have to discipline yourself to learn new things, and that's just you know, that's just the way that how our brain is wired to be able to put things in, and they deserve to be able to do that. So to answer your question, why there's so many powerful stories through the power of learning, but I think that because of the power of learning, people can escape poverty to a better life. They feel empowerment, they have confidence, they become active citizens. So I mean, it's just a great key to have to do that.
So I can't agree with Jimmy Pham, you know, on that point. But I want to make an argument, if you allow me to do so. Yeah. No, I'm just kidding. But I can't agree more. Talking about the learning changed life, you know, we can't name it all here. We haven't never have any doubt about it. And not only like as an individual, but it's also the community that we are living in. One point that I would like to highlight and you know, make an argument. Anh Jimmy Pham is mentioning like học nữa, học mãi. So that's a sentence. Actually, we in our generation, we are born with that. We are born with that sentence, and we we all the time, as a kid, our dad and mom, telling us, that things. However, I think that the definitions of keep learning had changed and evolving over the past 10 years. Especially when you see that everything is open, and we have a lot of accessibility to access, with the new knowledge. So whether the definitions of keep learning is relevant nowadays, I think that is still relevant, and the future is but the future is belonging to the persons who keep learning, but at the same time unlearning and relearning. And why I'm saying so, I guess that one sentence, one quote from KOTO, he is also mentioning like, to attain a knowledge, you're gonna add things every day. To attain the wisdom, you have to remove things every day. And what is all about the learning is that you have to let go of the old things, let go your own expertise, your experience, empty your brain, make it fresh, and open for the new things, so that your brain have a space to digest a new things. Knowledge is not about acquiring, information, how to read and how to write. I think the power of learning is that gonna be those who be able to create a knowledge, share the knowledge as well. And that's why is, the process of learning is that you keep learning, but you also keep unlearning and keep relearning.
Exactly. And Trang, I remember that when we work on a few big projects, you always remind us that start with the end in mind, and start with beginner mind as well. So blank piece of paper, what is our objective, and start from there rather than carry out with us the package we have with years of experience. So that's the beauty of learning too. Learn new things, but be able to unlearn and relearn. So recently, KOTO successfully organized the event Ăn Cơm Trưa, which is an online concert to raise money for KOTO trainee meals. And we understand that it was a great event. So Jimmy, we want to hear more from you in terms of the support you have got from people during this challenging time, and also we want to learn from you personally what you could done differently if you could do it again.
I think that the new normal is that we have to do everything unfortunately online and virtual and 2D. If I have a differently, I would have done 3D, because human to human connection is always better. But that's unfortunately, this is a new normal for us now. As you know, to understand why we do it, we need to understand why the reason behind it, of why we conduct this in the first place. We ran a very successful restaurant for 20 years where our kids do their practical training at Pham. And through the COVID, we did not expect it, or nobody did, that this global pandemic has affected us so badly that two industry got hit very hard, which is the education industry, which I think you know about, and number two is the hospitality and tourism industry, which was badly hit. So we were in two of those categories that was hit the most. So after trying to survive 7-8 months into the pandemic, we couldn't hold anymore because the rent and everything that we were forced to close Pham after 22 years of operations. And we moved to a modest and smaller place in Westlake and catered to a new business model. But since we opened in December by the Australian ambassador, Robin Moody, we were closed, locked down 5 times already. So it's been an ongoing difficulty. And so we immediately don't have a source of income, which is what a social enterprise does. We rely on our income from business generations to support our kids. And for us, it's very difficult because we don't have the heart to say, sorry guys, can you all go home now and come back when the pandemic is over? We made a commitment to them to look after them, to accommodate them, to shelter them, and to love them. And so that's what we're going to continue to do. And so we've been holding on, so we moved to a smaller training center and a smaller restaurants, trying to get through this very hard pandemic, and then and keep going as much as we can. So we currently have about 100 kids that we accommodate, that we have to feed and do online studying and all that kind of stuff as well. So the online concert that we conducted was one way of us doing fundraising. So we do grants, we do all sorts of different things, right to donors and our friends and supporters, everyone we can, and even you, Ms. Hua, who's been so generous to KOTO. Thank you for always your continued support. So things like that has helped us to survive. And the most incredible story that come out of this, Ms. Hua, is through the pandemic, I wrote a letter yesterday to my alumni who's been giving me vegetables, giving KOTO fish and squid and eggs and things like that. And it's just like little things that, you know, and Angkom Chua, the fundraiser, and I told this one particular story, which was a very heartwarming story for me. One particular girl gave 100,000 dong, and she said, and in her in the remark down below of the bank transaction, she said, wishing KOTO always to have good health and stay strong. And I told her, and I wrote in the letter that means more to me than someone giving me 1 billion dong, because it came from the heart. I know she's been unemployed for about 6 months in the hospitality industry, and yet she understood that you know, the value of giving back in the family and putting her own need aside. And she said, okay, I only have 100,000, but hey, would you take it, because we're family and I need you to know that we are in this together. And that was the most powerful thing that came out of it. So the fundraiser was, we have friends and artists like Mei Ling and Mr. Ving from Hanoi Voices, and Claire, and we got rappers. So they've done the different types of music that was conducted on the day. It catered for all different music tastes, from rap to ballads to acoustic to classical to ballet, all that kind of stuff. And we all came together in the name of KOTO and youth unemployment, and we raised about 720 million, and it was a very good night for us. So
yeah, amazing story. So the fund was actually much higher than the target you set, right?
That's correct. we raised we targeted 500,000, but we got 720 million, which is was more than expected. A third of that half of that came from the alumni, the KOTO alumni, which is was really
wow.
Yeah, it's not just today, but you guys have been always there and consistently there for us, you know. So it's just not today you're giving us, but you helped us last time, you helped us last month, you helped us continue. It's that commitment Apollo has to community, and being a part of that community is something that we really appreciate, and it's an opportunity to say a very big thank you.
You're welcome. So the next challenging question will be for Trang. So February 2020, first wave of COVID happened, and we were the first one launch online learning. At that time, it was something very tough to do, and no one thought that it would happen for that long. So what gave you the courage to do so? And what are the key changes you have introduced so far to Apollo at home, so that we have the strong program we are offering our learners now? And what are the directions that Apollo is working under your leadership to stay ahead of the curve with online learning?
That questions cover a lot of things. But okay, so yeah, but it's good when, you know, I'm looking back, you know, like to those days, I'm not sure like whether I am naive, or or I don't know what I don't know I still remember this is the pandemic is happened. It's also almost the same day when I step up from the GD general director in the north and step up to be a CEO at Apollo. So normally it's gonna be an excitement for the very bright futures that I envision for Apollo in the next 5 years. How I'm gonna drive it like stronger and better with a lot of dream and plan. The first day when I came back from Holland, and one of my staff, she called me and she said that, Trang, the school is like forced to close. What we gonna do? Okay. And I think that the thought I have within a minute, I say that let's do online. And I didn't even remember like why I say so. But now sitting here and why that's the decision, right? And it's all about the belief. And I think by that moment, what my thought and my thinking is very simple. We know that when the school's closing, we can't control when it's open. What we can control is that we make sure that we don't stop our students making progress. And you can have a few options. One is that you shut down everything like others doing. One is that you have to continue, and no matter what. And once you're gonna go with very easy decisions. The other one is that you don't know whether it's a right decision, but it's very tough decisions. And since that moment on, we decide to shift, the whole organization to the new model that we never done before. And as you are mentioning that we don't even have a name for it. Shutting down everything is very easy, but now it's like open up and maintain your operations with 1,000 staff, including local and expat teachers, and maintain the learning journey with our 30,000 students. This is really scary. This is really scary for me. But thanks to the resilience of the team that we had so far, and also the high commitment and the strong belief in learning change life. We know that what we are doing by that time is not perfect. It's not perfect, and I still remember that there's a lot of discussions and argument. What we're gonna do and how we're gonna do, and we make a lot of mistakes during that time. But we learn a lot through the mistake and through doing as well, and that's the reason why we are still operating to those days. And looking back the journey that we've been through, I can't be more proud about what our team have done so far. I think at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter how tough the situations look like. It's all about the mentality and the mindset. And at Apollo, we have a very clear mindset that regardless of how tough the situation is, we never let any student and our staff behind. And those things actually driving us to those days. So that's my story. And the next question is how it's gonna be, how we see ourselves and how see Apollo in the futures. And I must say that pandemic had taught us a lot of things and has changed a lot of things that we are doing, working, connecting the people. And same as a business, what I mentioned before is that the process of learning is not all about the learning. It's about learning, unlearning, and relearning. And we understand that after the COVID thing is going to be change, and how we're gonna prepare so that we can recover and be stronger in the futures. And if you look at what the expectation from the parents and what is the future learning look like, that's where we're gonna have to prepare so that we can recover and be stronger in the future. In able to do so, I feel very fortunate to work at Apollo, in a very tough time. That in one part, we try to maintain and improving what we are doing right now by constantly seeking for an enhancement in teaching delivery, service delivery, how we're gonna support the parents and the kids better so that they are not giving up on learning during this tough time. But the other part of it is that we are very excited to build a new generations of the Apollo learning journey, and we with a high hope that these generations of learning model gonna provide a kid a more efficient and effective learning and prepare them better for the futures.
Thanks. So as Apollonians can see, we are the place where the best become better. So at the surface, sometimes it seems like we are doing everything just to serve the parents and the students. But at the same time, behind the scene, the team is also working very hard to ensure that we stay ahead of the curve. And we are like the representative of innovation in education to introduce the new generation of products. So thank you, Apollonians, for watching so far. I just want to repeat that now is the time for you to start typing those things that you think Trang and Jimmy's process or observe that is important for the journey of learning. Remember, you have the chance to win 5 prizes. Thank you. Okay, and finally, your wish to Apollonians. So, Jimmy, can you go first?
To the Apollonians, first of all, stay safe, stay strong through this 1 in 100-year pandemic. I know that you've survived this far, and there's a lot of people that in your life that's been affected by the pandemic. But please stay strong, because there is a light at the end of the tunnel. Please always remember the job that you're doing and the work that you do is a gift. That every day you have the gift of sharing, a gift of sharing values and learning experience to the students of Apollo. So please don't ever take that for granted. You're working in such an incredible environment where people's first. It's about the commitment to community. It's about the founder and the vision is to continue to have that commitment to education and the power of learning. So please, you're part of something very special, something very innovative, and something very to the future. So be proud of that, and stay strong.
Thank you.
Trang.
Dear Apollonians, we are now in a very tough time and a lot of uncertainties, and we live in depth. And sometimes we look at the road ahead and we feel like it's such a long way to go. But I just want to remind you that let's look at how far we have come. We were scared, but we're gonna be less scared when we are together, and we are stronger when we are together. So never lose hope. Take this time to enjoy your learning journey, especially learning, unlearn, and relearning. And lastly, please stay safe, healthy.
Thank you, Trang and Jimmy, for the inspiring talk today on the power of learning. Thank you, Apollonians, for tuning in and for contributing to KOTO Chinese Wellness by being part of the viewers today. We do hope to see you carry out the power of learning. Bye for now.
Bye.